ask you what's going on between you and Bernie Sanders. You initially reached out to him. You wanted to explain to him the company's positioning behind this, why you had raised prices, but he rejected you. He said he doesn't want your donation. What happened?
I think he's a demagogue. He'll say anything to get a vote. And, you know, for me to be his piñata is unacceptable. I think he has a lot of great ideas. I gave him $2,700, which I understood to be the legal limit. And he donated it to a charity. Now, I don't donate millions of dollars to charity, and most young entrepreneurs don't do that. Every year I donate $5 to $10 million to charity. And ultimately, I think Bernie has a lot of great ideas, but if he wants to talk about pharmaceuticals, he can do that with me. And he's refusing to do that because I think he's afraid of the issues. I think I'd destroy him in any debate about pharmaceuticals.
So, because he doesn't understand?
I don't think he understands pharmaceuticals at all.
What did you do with the donation? Now, you put the donation into charity then, rather than, he won't accept your money, so you...
No, he donated on my behalf without asking.
He donated it on your behalf, and basically, instead, to a health clinic that treats HIV.
Now, I've actually offered last night to donate $50,000 to that clinic. So I hope they accept my donation directly from me.
So how does it make you feel that people are not accepting your donations and basically ostracizing you because of this HIV/AIDS drug increase?
I think you'd be surprised at the amount of support I've got. You know, there's a lot of people that support free markets. There's a lot of people that support drug development for rare diseases. We're one of the very few companies in pharmaceuticals that cares about these idiosyncratic diseases like toxoplasmosis or Canavan disease or Lafora disease. You've never heard of any of these diseases because very few people have them, and it's just not interesting enough for the big companies to get into rare diseases. We do that, and we care about every single patient, especially the patients who are most in need.
So Bernie Sanders rejected you. Hillary Clinton, you said, doesn't necessarily understand either. Who are you supporting for president?
I haven't made a decision yet. I'd be willing to support a Democrat. In fact, I was going to start a Democratic super PAC with my own money. But after this backlash and the lack of understanding of our economy from what I've seen from the Democrats, I may support a Republican now.
So you don't think they understand what it takes to put together and produce one of these drugs that are treating these very, very rare diseases?
Absolutely.
What does it take? Tell us that, Martin.
It takes a CEO who understands science. Most of my competitors don't, and I'm happy to challenge any of big pharma CEOs to a contest regarding science. And I've actually won U.S. patents. I've invented drugs. So it takes a leadership team that understands science. They're not just marketing guys in suits. Then it takes hundreds of millions of dollars. And it takes someone who can captivate Wall Street, get them excited about a drug. You know all about this. And believe that a drug in mice and monkeys can make it all the way to humans. And that's a gauntlet that's very tough and tricky.
So in terms of Turing right now, you talked about the epilepsy drug on fast-track status. What else is in the pipeline that investors might want to consider? I'm
so happy you asked that, because on Tuesday we were at FDA and we had a meeting with the FDA regarding our drug, which is intranasal ketamine. We're competing with Johnson & Johnson, it's a small company in New Jersey, and they were both competing to try to get this drug approved for suicidality. And in fact, Turing, unlike Johnson & Johnson, we're developing the drug for post-traumatic stress disorder, which many veterans suffer from. And the FDA was very excited to hear about the first drug company willing to try to get approval for PTSD.
Did you hear from your colleagues during this whole firestorm in the business? In other words, executives at Johnson & Johnson, at Merck, some of the other biotech companies. What was their reaction to the firestorm?
I did. You know, I heard a lot of hypocrisy. You know, the CEO of Biogen called me out personally. I know George a little bit, but he said that our price increases were unfathomable. He takes more price increases than anyone. Our price increase took a very small drug to a slightly less small drug. He's got billion-dollar drugs that he takes price on indiscriminately. So I dislike stuff like that. I've gotten a lot of support from some of my biopharma colleagues who've said, you know, at the end of the day, we need profits and revenue to drive R&D.
Well, what about profits? And what about, you know, the growth at Turing right now?
Well, we're not a profitable company yet.
Right.
And my salary is actually $0. George from Biogen, his salary is $3.5 million. And in fact, their stock has been plummeting. I've created a tremendous amount of shareholder value, and I don't take 1 penny in salary. And I saw the Twitter gentleman give his stock away. I've been doing that since day one. I've also given hundreds of millions of dollars of stock away.
Has this hurt the company, this firestorm, and the fact that, you know, people are pushing back on you because of this increase? Has it hurt the company, and are you going to need to get scale in order to grow? Are you going to be acquired?
No, it's a great question. So we're in acquisition discussions right now with 6 different companies to acquire them. And so I think we're going to be fine. Our research is prolific. We invent a new drug every 3 to 6 months. And I think we'll go through this very easily.
These discussions that you're in terms of making an acquisition over the near term, where are the holes in the company that you need? What are you looking for in terms of acquisitions?
I think we want groundbreaking drugs for people with really bad diseases. You know, there's a terrible rare genetic disease that we're in conversations with a major pharmaceutical company to acquire. I can't wait to take that drug, develop it, spend $50 to $100 million because the big pharma didn't want to do that.
I'm sure people would like to see that, but can we trust you that you're not going to raise the prices that people can't afford?
My salary is $0. The average big pharma CEO makes millions of dollars. I give $1 million of charity. They don't. Look at my U.S. patents, where I've discovered and developed my own drugs. Just go to uspto.gov and search for my patents. You'll see my scientific work right there.
So is it only about the CEO's salary? I mean, I'm talking about the accessibility of these drugs by regular folks out there. They don't care what you make. They care what they're paying.
Exactly, and I care too. I don't think anyone should pay out of their own pocket for medicine in this country.
That's a different conversation.
No one pays more than $10 for our drug. 40% of people pay $10 out of pocket, 60% pay a penny out of pocket, and I love that.
So basically what you figured is that we're going to take this drug up to $750 because the average guy and gal there is not going to pay for it anyway. Let the government pay. Let Medicare pay. Let Medicaid pay.
Well, in fact, we don't get any revenue from the government. Where we get revenue from is insurance companies and big corporations that pay those insurance companies premiums.